That was the spirited drinking song from Verdi's La Traviata to put us all in the mood for a party. So Liamo means let's drink. And I'd like to introduce you to the singers. I'll go from that end because Alfredo, the singing Alfredo was Philip Prendergast, the tenor. Next to him is Annika Henriks, who is our soprano this evening, who was singing Violetta. Our mezzo-soprano is Melissa Gregory, and our baritone is Oliver Boyd. Please make them very welcome. And on the piano tonight is Gillian Stoll, who is, and I do need to read this, is the lecturer in opera and professional practice at the Conservatorium, and Gillian was formerly the head of music at Opera Queensland when Leo was our chairman and when I was our CEO. So it's a great pleasure to welcome them all here this evening, and I hope you enjoy it. All young singers who are all doing postgraduate or senior studies at the Conservatorium have just recently, all of them, performed major roles in Benjamin Britten's Albert Herring, which was a fantastic production that the Con has just put on, and it was directed by film director Bruce Beresford, who many of you would know. So they've had this fantastic opportunity recently with a great director and a fantastic show, and they all excelled in it. So I think you can see they're on their way to stardom. Without further ado, we'll move on to the next few pieces. The next two pieces showcase both the German and the French repertoire. So first of all, Oliver will sing Wolfram's aria from Tannhäuser by Wagner, which is a beautiful song about the evening star about his beloved. They're always about love, these opera songs, which you probably know. And then our two girls, Anita and Melissa, will sing the glorious flower duet from L'Axé Basilique, which you may know, our French song. It will be instantly recognizable music, and I think you'll be able to hear the water rippling in the music as the two girls prepare to bathe in the stream. That's what's happening in the opera at that time. So please welcome Oliver, and after Oliver, Melissa and Anita. Thank you.
So quanto è cara, quanto è bella, ah, quanto è bella, quanto è cara, tu la vedo e tu mi piaci.
So we'll see how we go. I just want to check whether we can celebrate now, because what was your birth time? In 1st of October 1926. Sorry? 1926? Yeah, what time of day? I can't remember. Okay, we can celebrate. Okay, so I got a time of day. Leo was born in Yamundi, in the Yamundi Hospital, and he was brought home by his mum and dad to Cook Street, Yamundi, where he joined his oldest brother Roy and his older brother Grant. And shortly after that he was joined by his younger sister Vida, and we welcome Vida and her daughter Janelle here tonight with Mum and Russell. Thank you. So it was a tight-knit family in the Yamundi days, and I think this is where we started our journey into my life with the family relationships. So our early days were in Morningside, where Dad invested in a house on the edge of town, close to the train line, which obviously took him into work. So at the time, it was a place of nurturing, growing a young family, and having some security in that. And so that's what our early father provided us. So at Morningside also, it became evident that he was quite neighbourly, and he liked relations with neighbours. And that grew into friendships. And nothing changed during life, because today we have Lisa down here from Capalaba, who is a very good neighbour and friend, and is friends with Leo now. And so, you know, these are things that happen through life. And he also enjoyed social relationships with people who helped him build homes and design homes for the family. So we have Graham and Sue Williams down here, similarly very friendly at this time with the family. And we have local Morningside people, Mavis and Donna Garrett, and from way back.
Way back.
Anyway.
Don't go back too far.
No, we're going to go back too far. So interestingly, now on the table down here we've got all the new neighbours from the village. So these are all some of the new neighbours. Are they infiltrators, are they? So it's a part of life of Dad's growing up, I guess. So when we grew up, there was Barry, we unfortunately lost Barry when he was 17, but that was a tragedy for us, for the family. But when we were young boys, we grew up in Morningside, and I guess what we noticed, and I suppose some of you also noticed, was something about work ethic. So Dad used to go somewhere every weekday, and that was likely some workplace, and so we didn't know much about that for a little while, but it was obviously a big part of his life. Matter of fact, I can remember as a boy, you know, when you're young, you get up early, but he was always at his desk. He beat you up. So, you know, like it was early in the morning. And one of the strongest memories is that when he went to work, it was by train. So we used to listen to the train. He used to listen to the train coming up with, choo-choo train coming up from Cannon Hill, and he'd race down there. And I remember as a boy thinking, well, has he actually caught this train? And he used to wave the newspaper out the window and say, well, you know, I'm off to work. So he was off to work. He used to come home early in those days, later in life. He came later. But I guess the memories were very strong from those days in Morningside, and they progressed to so the work ethic extended, because some days he would say, well, Sunday I'm going to go to work. So he'd take me into work on Sundays, because I think you were in the education department then, and you used to have to sign the teachers' checks, didn't you? The paychecks for the Queensland teachers. So here he was signing these checks. So we'd be assigned tasks like sharpening pencils or changing the date. Very task-oriented we were. I guess on the table over here we know that these are all the work buddies of Dad or Leo. And did he ever test you out for work ethic?
We couldn't keep up.
You retired early. So anyway, it's part of being part of Dad's life. But I guess the benefit out of this was that we noticed that passing down to our grandchildren and Claire, Emily and Lyndon, achievement and work ethic is part of their life. So there you go, whether genetics or whatever works, or it's part of being a leader of the family. Okay, so the next thing is about, well, we lived in Morningside. It was like on the outskirts of town, so, you know, but there was part of the family that we needed to mix with. So Dad was very strong on Boxing Days, mixing with the rest of the family. So on those days, we'd go out to Sanford Valley, not far from Ian McAllister's gate, actually, just up the road from where he used to live. But there was a fair way out of town in those days. So there would be the Hilsches, which was Leo's father and mother, Mum's mother, the Palgraves, which were her family, and the Hunts, which were, and Janelle, and obviously Peter, and the boys from that family. So, and here we were. It's a case of break out the watermelons, get the footy kicking, and get the cricket bat and ball, and out you go and have a game. And Leo's dad was always there, teaching you how to bat, bowl, field, you know. But when he got the bat, we were always bowling, fielding, trying to get him out. It was a long, like on a long session. So anyway, then we went on the grand tours. Now we had the grand tours starting in 1954. Now this is where...
And maybe an extra prize if you can tell me who drove it. Virgo! Oh my God! Very good. Well done. Do you know how many FX Holden started? 28. And by the way, I should tell Dad that there was 7 Jaguars in the field, but only 2 finished. Anyway, so then in 1964, this was a repeat, but except we had an EJ brand new Holden, and it was a wagon because we now had Perry, and so we needed to accommodate a greater family. So we set off on a similar journey back or past the same journey, and went to Redhead, and where Glenn Betty and family lived, and then back to Melbourne, and up we come. And I think the roads improved. All the car got better. One or the other we made it. And then in late 1960s, we took the Sunlander to link up with Roy and Edna in Townsville, and John and Peter were their son, and here's Peter and Kate from that part of life. And on the way home, we stopped in at Mackay, where Uncle Don and Doreen were living, and they had, I think, 2 children. I might be wrong. And Darian, who's with us tonight, and Donna, who's overseas. And I'm not sure about Mary Michelle. You weren't born. Nice to get that. Anyway, this is all part of being part of the family. So we got the story that Dad was part of the family. You know, he wanted the family. But interestingly, though, Dad liked riding. You know, and it's still part of him. And so much part of him that he's bought a new Jag. He's not going on the Red X trial. So he bought a new Jag. So the family actually bought him something to speed his Jaguar up. No, bought him a little part of the Jaguar that he might enjoy. I'm only going to hang it over Kerry.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Ross. As Ross said, Dad loves driving, and my little memory of Dad, way back in school days, swimming club. He used to drive me to swimming club. We used to go to the Hibiscus Pool for squad training. We had netball training. He would take me everywhere in that little car, and Mum too. So what's happened now is we were trying to encourage Dad to downsize a little from his beautiful golden Jag, long wheelbase that he loves. But I think at 90, the family, Ross and I and the family have all decided that maybe at 90 we have to succumb to his I don't know what the word is, his demands now, and he has now bought an XF Jag, not an FX Holden, but an XF Jag, with Lyndon's help, I believe, as well. Lyndon was involved with it, and yeah, we're very happy to have you driving that car, as long as you're being very careful. And I'd like to invite the family up because we do have something to present to you. No, But I think you'll like it. I think you'll like it. Anyway, I'll get the family just to pop up. Everyone pop up, and we've got a little present to give you. Just an interlude in between.
Yeah.
Carrie.
By the way, when you see this, I'll give you a bit of information about the reservoir. It holds a special technical advantage, which I'll tell you later.
Anyway, this is a little present. Open it up now. Rip it open. It's from the whole family.
It's not a new jam.
We didn't downsize that one.
Looks like a number plate to me.
Oh, that's already.
Well, what do you know about it? LAH 26.
26.
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I need to tell you that there's some GPS chips in those number plates, so
Thank you very much.
nice that we know where he is.
whole portfolio of people we're going to thank. But in those thanks, I'd like you to recognise, please, as we have 82 people here tonight, and I won't be able to talk about each one individually, because you all want to get a bit sooner or later. I think, first of all, my first thanks must go to Mary. She's put up with me, I'm going to say, but she's been with me, married to me for 68 years, and she, 68. When you finish commiserating, I'll continue. But she has been the strength of the partnership. When things are rough and tough, she's the one that hangs in there, and we've had a few rough and tough times domestically, not between us, but because of us. And she's the one that pulls me through. I'm a bit of a softie when it comes to those sort of, well, I am when it comes to anyhow, thanks, Mary. You know, we had our first kiss at the gate when we were both 15-year-old, and I've enjoyed everyone since. Then of course the family, Ross and Kerry, they've been stalwarts too. Whenever things are tough and rough, they're only a phone call away, and they're there in a flash with their help and support. I can talk on, but I'm not going to. I've got a lot of people to talk about. The next persons I'd like to refer to particularly are my secretaries. I'm not going to ask you to sing or say anything, I want to refer to you. And Jan Honeycomb. I've had 3 secretaries, total 3 in all my career. And I think that says something about me. I'm a pretty good boss to deal with. I wasn't going to talk about me, but I'll talk about my secretary. Jan Honeycomb was with my secretary for 40 years. Almost 40 years. And she was a bit of a rough diamond, you know. She was also a very good secretary. She knew more about me than I knew about myself, I think. You know, when I finally retired from the head of the Treasury, she accepted and banked my superannuation check. You know, I've been contributing to this superannuation all my life. It would be lovely to have felt like we paid my 4 figures of lumber. It's in the bank. It was in the right bank though, and you know, some of my senior staff had a little bit of a problem with Jan, because they said she's acting as though she's the bloody deputy under treasurer. I think she might be occasionally. She's looking after me though, and she's doing a pretty good job I think we'll leave things as they are. That was the end of that. But she was about the only one I knew that could keep me shielded from some of the people that we weren't real keen to receive. She's the only one that I know that ever kept Ross Higgins waiting for me to accept him. Then again, of course, it's Donna. Donna has been my secretary in recent years, and she's the one that's been looking after us very carefully in the last number of years. She's the one you've RSVP'd to for this party. She worked very hard on the party. She designed the invitation. She designed. She designed the keepsake, which I'll ask you to take home and read and know. And she's really been responsible for tonight, I reckon. Thank you very much, Simon, and good luck in your examination. She's doing an MBA at the same time, and I think I'm taking too much of her time away from her MBA. But good luck to you, mate. Then there's my CEO of the opera company who's been helping us this evening. It was, I don't know, I forget about the year when we brought Susanna up from, we went for a worldwide contest for our new general manager, and we pinched someone from Melbourne. She came up to see us and we said she's the one, but when we'd accepted her as as far as our committee is concerned, that she was going to be the one. She said, I've got a little problem. She said, I've got 2 daughters going to school. They're in high school, and I'm a bit worried about them leaving where they are in Melbourne. Can you help me here? And I said, oh, okay. But I was very friendly of one of my mates here, Bernie Stein, was the chairman of the Presbyterian Methodist School Association, where they are, which included some of them. By the way, he was the chairman, president of the school association. And he's here this evening. Would you believe his successors over here? There's Robinson, he's also here this evening. But anyhow, I rang Bernie, I told him the problem I had. I really wanted these girls enrolled. I said, I don't know them, and I hate to really, put my credit up for something you don't know about. But I've met the mother, and if there's anyone here as good as the mother, I'll put my credit at stake. And he said, okay, well, would you believe the girls really prospered at the school prospered also, because one of them became Dux of the school before she was finished. She later became a Rhodes Scholar, and today she's in The Hague in the International Court of Justice, and she's the legal research for the President of the Court. So my credit remains unsullied because I'm relying on Susanna's support. Well, Susanna said a fair bit about our association. I'm not going any further, Susanna. That'll do. I think before, I'd like to acknowledge those that have come a long way today. And Stephen and Janetta from Hobart, you take the cake. Stephen was my CEO when I was the chairman of the Queensland Treaty Corporation for 20 odd years. Matter of fact, Stephen and I put it together, just the two of us sat down at that beer table, and from then on, QDC has blossomed and flourished. He's now CEO of the Tasmanian Treasury Corporation, and he's up here today because it's got a bit too cold down there.
Came up to chill out.
Now, thanks for coming all that way, Stephen. From Melbourne, we've got my lovely granddaughter, Claire, and Gillian, on side of it. They'll be married next month, you know. Next month, the big wedding on in the Barossa, if the Barossa is still there.
We don't really know.
And we're all going down there for another function. Thanks for coming all that way. And from Melbourne and from Sydney, we have, first of all, Desi Den, over there, Des, one of my fishermen mates from Fraser Island. Des in his earlier days, when he didn't have quite as much grey hair as he's got there now, he looked even more handsome. In those days, he had his career included an advisor to General Marcos in the Philippines for many, many years. And I don't know whether the General behaved himself while you were advising him, but he didn't. But Des used to come home once a year to join us at Fraser Island to become, once again, another Australian before he went back to the Philippines. Thanks for coming all that way, Des. I also have my nephew, Robert, and his wife, Leslie from Sydney. Thanks for coming up. We seem to meet most often when someone turns 90 in our family, doesn't it? And then from...
Bob and Lenise? Bob and Lenise, stand here. Yeah, stand here, Bob and Lenise.
Oh yeah, I'm coming up. We also have the Robert's sister and my niece, Glenise from Newcastle, and Bob at the back there. Thanks also for joining us. That other comment about any meeting when we got someone turning 90 refers to you too. And I have, being in New South Wales, I have Len Mason and Judy from Terranora. Len is an old mate of mine from 1953, for God's sake, how long ago is that? Len's also an opera singer, and he was had an opera scholarship here in 1952. We didn't have an opera company then, but the government were very generous to them, and we had scholarship holders. And because we were that generous, they had to perform for us. They had to put a performance on His Majesty's Theatre in those days. That's going to make a difference. And also they had to travel around Queensland to perform in the country areas. We went by train, and we were away for 3 or 4 weeks. And we took the orchestra and the company. And would you believe my first experience with Len? It was 53, Len, I think it was. 1953, yeah. And I heard, for the first time in my life, I heard Love Away for 21 days out of the 28. And believe me, I was convinced that her tiny hand was frozen. We then have our friends from, and relatives from Stanthorpe. Vida, my sister, Vida, my younger sister, Vida, and Janelle and Russell. Thanks for coming down to the party. You're going home again tonight? Yes. You think it's still hooked down here? You're going home to Stanthorpe. Anyhow, good to see you, and I hope you enjoyed this evening. Yes, we have. And I'm coming back to Rockhampton. I've got another nephew, Peter and Kate from Rocky, always there when the family needs you, and good to see you again. You know I'm running for Rockhampton Council. Peter was the city engineer at Rockhampton when first name Pilbeam.
Rex
Pilbeam was the mayor. He was chairman at the time, wasn't he? That's what they called him then. And he used to come to me as head of the treasury looking for money for his loan program. And he said, I've got a young engineer up there. He said, he's playing up, but he's smashed 3 or 4 cars up. He said to me before I left us, he said, well, look, Chairman, he said, when you go to Brisbane, look up Uncle, look after you. He was a bit of a character, wasn't he? Away from Brisbane, Noosa, Ross, of course, from Garoi. I knew you'd be here. I gave you a task and you performed very well. We also from Noosa, we had Graham and Sue Williams, who built our house at Noosa. You know, Graham and Sue built the house. Eric Perhaps was the one that was the architect, and I'm still friendly with both of them. Happy about that. Well, before I sit down, there's just one more person of the group I'd like to mention. My group over here, my friends, my most recent friends, there's 13 of them there from the village, and you appreciate that there's 261 people in the village. These are 13 that I chose to be here with me. And I don't know what that means. It means they're pretty good. One other person I'd like to refer to is a man who really is responsible for this evening. By that I mean, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here and we wouldn't have this party. And that's my GP, my Dr. Bennett over there, and Joan. He's been my GP since 1975. That's 42 years, and he's taken me through a very serious fall off the roof when I spent 3 months in the hospital, and very severe dose of hepatitis and a couple of heart failures and all the other things that go wrong. And thanks very much, Jeff, for making it tonight possible. About 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago, I had my annual checkup, which I have every 3 years. The doctor was reading through the results, and he's saying, "Gee, you're right in the middle of all the ranges. Lovely, 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 beautiful. You know, the cholesterol 3.8." And he said, "All you got to be careful of really is the buses on the way home." But he said, I do notice you're a little bit high on sodium. He said, "Do you add a little bit of salt to your dishes?" I said, "Well, doctor, that's my one remaining sin. Yes, I do." And he said, "Well, it's not too bad." He said, "It just might affect your longevity." And I said to him, you talking about 9900, forget it. I'm looking after 89, 90 at the moment. Anyhow, thank you very much. I'll cease there. But ask you to do one thing, please. When you go home tonight, please mark off in the calendar 110-2026. We'll have it all over again. I really shouldn't make any comment at this stage. I should just be cutting the cake. But when you get home and you get your photos, that thing in the front there is the medal that the Queen gave me. It's not the medal, it's I think she and when she hit me on the shoulders with a sword, and she said, "Arise, Sir Leo." And I said, "What now?" Now I didn't say this at all.
She only gave it to you because she didn't want it.
Wait a minute. Got to put it out?